I can't cry now. Like I can
Wait,
never cry.
really?
Yeah.
Like I find it so hard. I used to blub at everything at least twice a week, and now I just do not cry. I don't feel like I want to cry, but
you can't
Like
physically
tears
cry.
will well up, but you never get like a full.
yeah.
This is mind blowing. Hello guys, welcome to episode 14 of the Hormone Diaries, and today I have some very special guests. Would you like to introduce yourselves?
Hi, I'm Alex. I'm a trans man.
Hello, I'm Jake. I'm non-binary.
We are celebrating Alex's book, Transmission, My Quest to a Beard. It's going pretty well.
Thanks. I shaved the other day. I'm regretting a lot.
Oh, Alex is on the same publishers as me, so we're like publishing siblings, I guess. Is that a thing?
Yeah.
In the Hormone Diaries, we've often explored a lot of things to do with hormones and contraception and periods. It's been my journey, and as a cis woman I have it should be straightforward, but it hasn't been so straightforward journey. But I guess your journey with hormones and all of that stuff is completely different. So we're going to talk about testosterone, which we haven't talked about so much. Also, it's Trans Awareness Week. Hey! I think the hashtag is Trans Week, and on the 20th, which is the end of the week, it is Trans Remembrance Day. So get involved on social, get involved in your local communities, shout out and send love to all the trans people in your life. And this book is out now. On the day that we're filming it, it has come out today.
It's good, I promise.
It is. It's really.
I can't wait to read it, and Alex has signed mine. Okay, so let's just get into it. My pronouns are she, her.
My pronouns are he/they.
Am I a he, him?
Leave your pronouns in the comments. This is going to be kind of like a 101 because it's the first time we're talking about this stuff on the Hormone Diaries, so we're going to start from scratch. You are both on HRT. First of all, what is HRT? What is the process and what happens?
HRT is hormone replacement treatment or therapy. There's loads of different types of testosterone you can get, like gel, patches, injections. There's loads of different kinds of injections and patches and gels you can get. So it's not just testosterone. They have brands and stuff.
I assume that testosterone stops your periods.
Yes.
It can do, yeah. Some
Okay.
people it doesn't, but
Yeah.
for us it has.
So it's like a side effect of it could happen.
It's more like it is kind of inevitable, but for some people it can take 3 years, and for some people it can take a month.
Oh, I see.
So
Okay,
it's all
yeah.
about how quickly your body takes to testosterone and how quick your estrogen levels drop.
Yeah, because if
in
your T
comparison to
levels
that.
drop too low, there's a high possibility that your
See,
flow will happen.
that happened to me because I was on injections and then they took me off and I went on gel and I didn't get my prescription filled out quick enough. I was off for so many weeks and my levels dropped so fast that it just came back, and it was
I remember he went
horrifying.
into my room and he
no.
was like, I was like,
Yeah.
oh no.
Literally just made one face and he was like, really? And I was
Oh no. How long have you both been on T then?
a year and a month or something.
Okay.
Year and 2 months, maybe even 3. God.
What month is it?
It's November.
I need somebody to do the math for me. It was April last year.
So a year and a half-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine was June.
One of the things I wanted to talk about was some of the physical changes that you experienced, but then also mood changes. So what about the physical ones? They're kind of the most obvious. Because I've also been watching your videos and seeing the transition, and I'm like, damn, Alex. Good work.
I think the first thing I noticed was kind of more graphic. I literally the first week I noticed dick growth. Which
Okay,
is
yeah.
when the clit just gets
Enlarges,
bigger.
yeah,
that
yeah.
happens on T.
Okay.
Nobody warned me
I
about
swear
that.
it happened
and I
in
was really shocked.
3 days.
Yeah.
Really? Do you think that's because it's
ridiculously
because it's your genitals? I guess it's number one area. I don't know.
I don't know. Nobody talks
What's
about
the
it.
science? Hormone Diaries is all about figuring things out, but not quite knowing everything.
I think my voice went next. I didn't notice anything else. But 2-3 months in, I noticed my voice kind of doing the puberty thing where it would break all the time.
yeah.
I couldn't sing for ages and that was terrifying.
Yeah, you
It was
didn't sing at Summer in the City.
Yeah, there
because
was
you couldn't sing.
I was going to do Summer in the City not this year but last year, but then I was I don't want to do it because I physically can't sing anymore. So
But
it
can
took
you
me,
sing now? But I guess it's different
Yeah, it's
register.
totally different, but I think I've kind of got it back now.
I remember hearing him sing for
Super
the first
fun.
time after his voice broke, and I was like, damn, you sound hot. I'm so attracted to you right now.
And then I guess the obvious thing is you both have facial hair now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's lovely. I love it so
You're just
much.
yeah.
That's not a given thing, though. Not everybody gets facial hair. I'm not sure if it's
well, because
hereditary or...
a lot of cis guys
Yeah.
don't have facial hair, or they have extreme beards.
Yeah.
So
I took
yeah.
minoxidil for a while though.
Oh, what's
This
that?
gel stuff that you put on your face, and it evaporates and then stimulates the hair follicles or something. I don't know the science.
It's meant for people who are balding,
Yeah.
like on their head.
Oh,
It's
balding
meant
cream.
for balding people,
I love that.
And then like a lot of trans men put it on their faces,
Oh.
and it really dries out your skin.
Yeah, it has like
Terribly.
horrible side effects.
As an observer, I feel like your jaw has is defined.
Yeah.
Is that a thing?
When you look
Can
at
your
my
like
face,
face change?
Well, when
Yeah,
you look at
it does.
pictures
Yeah.
of our faces, they've changed, but I can never like pinpoint what it is.
Is it like the
hairline's
testosterone, or
receding.
is it just like getting older?
I think it's T, because
Yeah.
it kind of happens to everybody. Like your face just gets a bit broader, and your fat redistributes all over your body, so it might be that happening in your face as well.
I noticed a picture. I looked at one of like about 3 years ago when we just started dating, and I looked so much skinnier, but also my face was so round. And I don't ever remember like literally being round around here. Now my face is just a bit more like.
But I can never
facey.
tell if that's just like the evolution of haircuts either. Because I used to have like a shaggy
Yeah.
mop, and then
Oh, sure, because like the
shape
way
my
you
head.
cut your hair can like
Yeah.
totally change how your face looks as well. Let's say it's the T.
yeah.
Totally the T.
That's good.
And then in terms of mood, because when we were at Summer in the City, we were having very intense conversations about how gender is a construct and like masculinity, femininity, da da da. We were having all these conversations, and then you were like, oh, but since I've been on T, I feel so much more angrier.
Yeah. See, the thing is like I'm such a like passive person. I can get really stroppy, but at the same time, I did not feel like capable of even feeling anger or like even producing that emotion. And then on T, I got it so much and so intense, and I've learned to like just not let that come out, but I do
Sure.
feel it.
I mean,
so
don't
I'm
suppress
like,
it.
Yeah, I'm not like suppressing it in a bad way. I'm just
It's like,
sort of,
and then
like-
it'll explode and you murder
Yeah.
someone. Like,
That's me.
Oh no,
They
yeah,
murder me.
well, this is a thing.
Well,
like,
I'll do like
so.
a Hannibal-esque murder, so it's like a beautiful murder, you know.
God.
It'll be pretty. I'll make
Ew,
art out of
this
you.
is so wrong.
This video will be
No.
used as evidence. You haven't felt that.
No, I've heard a lot of people say that their moods can go all over the place when they need their next shot or something, but that's like never been the case for me. If anything, I've mellowed out so much because I'm just so much more chill now. Like because my dysphoria has been alleviated, I just feel good.
I do notice a difference. Like you were quite angry
Yeah.
pre-testosterone. Like yeah, you would get like quite grumpy sometimes, but now you just don't really do that.
Nothing bothers me anymore.
This is a big question, and I don't expect like you to have the answers, and I know that like I don't, and I don't think there's like right or wrong answers. But how do you reconcile the fact that clearly you two and millions of others are evidence that like gender is a construct, and like the gender you're assigned at birth like isn't necessarily like match up with your gender identity and all of that, but at the same time a lot of people like desire to transition to the opposite gender, and for you you're like feel very comfortable with masculine characteristics and masculine traits, and then being like, oh, why am I feeling angry on T? Like, is that a masculine thing? This is just a brainstorm moment. Like, no one needs to answer this right now, but this is something that I think about all the time. I'm like, how does this work?
Yeah.
Like on the one hand we're like, oh, it's a construct, and on the other it's like, oh, but we're adhering to the binary.
So
Like, how does that...
no, there is like
Yeah.
there's science behind like what hormones do to your body, because we do have two binary concepts of biology, which is
Yeah.
like a masculine and a feminine biology, and there is also intersex in between. But the hormones create this stereotype from the fact because of the way those hormones interact with your brain.
Yeah.
And the same with estrogen. Like I can't cry now. Like
Oh,
I can
yeah.
never
Wait,
cry.
really?
Yeah.
Like I find it so hard. I used to blub at everything at least twice a week, and now I just do not cry. I don't feel like I want to cry, but
But you can't
Like the
physically
tears
cry.
will
Yeah.
well up, but you never get like a full.
Yeah, it's
This
just-
is
you can't-
mind blowing.
So
Because my boyfriend like doesn't cry. I'm like, it's toxic masculinity. Like, just let yourself
No.
cry, babe. And he's like, no.
it's biological. Like I would say, a good portion of it is biological.
Sometimes I'm so sad. I'm like, oh, I really want to cry right now, and I knew I would have pre-T, but
I just like
can't.
tear up all the time.
No, it's like a great release. But
It's
I
like,
never
I
cry
wanna-
for sad reasons. I always tear up for like happy reasons.
Yeah, yeah. How do you then release that energy if you can't like tear it out?
You just have to feel shit. You just have to sit there and go,
It's
oh.
horrible. Like the contrast between being able to sit there and cry for 10 minutes and then be like, oh, I feel great, and then not being able to cry and just having to sit there for like an hour, just like stewing in it.
Yeah.
It's horrible. I
There's
don't
got
know,
to be
it's like-
other ways to kind of like complete that cycle and allow you to like move on. I read this book recently that had like a lot of science in it about, it was mostly about female sexuality and stuff, but there was a bit in it where it was talking about like the differences between the sexes or the genders or whatever. And one thing that really resonated with me was that it was like, yes, you can see differences between men and women, but there are more differences within each group than there are between them. And I was like, oh, that like really helped me kind of realize how that man is a man and he's different from that woman, but that man is different from that man, and that woman is really different from that woman.
I never saw myself as transitioning really from female to male. I was just kind of changing certain traits about me that I was uncomfortable with, and it just so happens that those changes make me fall into the male category. Does that make sense?
There's this idea that like trans men are trying to be more masculine than they are. Like some people they go through this like kind of overcompensating like stage.
Ooh.
And
those are the days.
and for someone like Alex, like he just happens to be very stereotypically masculine. Like his interests and how he looks and how he behaves just happens to fall into that stereotype, and it's not like this compensating, trying to fit in a box kind of thing.
No, it wasn't like a switch that happened when I was like, oh, I think I'm trans. That was how I've been historically.
Did you always like feel different growing up, and that like something wasn't quite right? And at what point did you become aware of trans? And then like did it click immediately of being like, oh, that's what I am?
I always say that I had no concept of gender as a kid because my parents always let me do whatever I wanted. So I always kind of looked androgynous anyway. But then it was only really when I hit puberty that my body was like, oh, boobs and period. And I was like, oh, this is shit. And my brain wasn't connecting with my body there at all, and there was just like this weird thing, and I had no idea what was going on. And so I'd approached loads of different people about it. I went to a student counsellor, and they brought in professionals, and they kind of said, oh, maybe you're trans and maybe you're experiencing dysphoria. And so I looked into it, and that's what it was.
And so how old were you? Like in your
14, 13.
That's really cool that was like there for you, and they like didn't dismiss your experiences. I
always grew up in like a very binary world.
Right.
Like, so being
in a binary world.
Literally being like a younger sister of 2 older brothers, and then going to an all-girls school up until I was like 15, 16. I always felt like different. I was like really depressed. Didn't know what was wrong, and then I moved to college to like a mixed gender environment, and I was like, I just like felt free to like express myself more, and then somebody just introduced me or like reintroduced me to the word trans, and I was like, that is who I am.
And you also identify as non-binary. Do you like have a difference in your head between like trans and non-binary, or? I
think so. Like, I mean, a lot of the time I just kind of class myself as male. But I definitely have like a very fluid aspect to my identity. I'm quite happy just being introduced as a trans man like a lot of the time, but also I do love being non-binary. But it's a bit more of like a personal identity. Like I don't mind if it just stays with me and like in a very like specific setting.
Yeah,
but
I see that. You've
I think
got
it's
like
still, important.
The one that you give out to the world that may be like slightly more easy for people to understand.
For some reason though, people get so confused and a little bit annoyed about your identity because you're a trans man. You've gone to all this effort to have hormones and eventually have surgery, but you're like presenting not 100%, bro macho dude.
Oh, I see.
And that's the thing, like I needed testosterone and I needed to look like this in order to feel comfortable enough to dress the way I dress and to like explore myself and be comfortable enough to like wear makeup. Like I wouldn't have worn makeup if I didn't have a beard, I needed facial hair to put highlight on. It's just how I work. It's just how I'm comfortable.
Because it just comes down to the fact that like gender identity and gender expression are like separate.
So different, yeah.
For a lot of people there will be like a crossover of like the things that are seen as typically masculine or feminine, and you're like, yes, I'm into that. But for a lot of people it's like not the case. What's in this book? That's what I want to know. I've not read it yet. I'm excited.
Everything. Literally.
You will cry.
The whole story.
Oh really?
You will cry.
God.
The thing that happens in this book, I remember it happening in real life, and I remember crying there.
Wait, what?
And then when I read it back,
You're like, wait, which
what
bit?
is this?
No, it was the letter.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
That was deep.
And many other bits.
Who's this book for? Like age, gender?
Just anybody really. Like I just want anybody to understand how a trans person feels and how to talk to a trans person. And if parents out there have a trans kid and they want to know what the future entails for a trans person, read it, do the thing.
Dun, dun, dun. I'll leave links in the description for where you can get it. Alex and Jake have YouTube channels, and I'll also leave them in the description. You should go and check them out. Thank you so much for watching this episode of the Hormone Diaries. Thanks, Alex and Jake,
Thanks for having us.
Coming and hanging out with me. Don't forget to use the hashtag TransWeek on social media and get involved with Trans Awareness Week. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and would love to hear your thoughts on all of the stuff that we've talked about. I like to call it, in Doctor Who, it's like timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly. I'm like, gender, wendery, wibbly-wobbly.
Yes,
Gendery, wendery, wibbly-wobbly.
Wibbly-wobbly, gendery,
So there we go. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe because I make new videos every week. Bye!